How have we, the most connected generation, suddenly become, over time, the loneliest generation? It's like with one click of a button, I could send a text message to an old college friend, see what my coworker's up to on social media, FaceTime my brother in Thailand. There are more ways than ever to quote unquote be connected. We live our lives just pained by this underlying sense of loneliness despite the amount of connections that we have and that we have access to. What's worse is that there's this new stigma going around that mainstream media is just putting forth, saying that loneliness is now somehow a disease. It's like when I was growing up, E. coli, heart disease, cancer, these were diseases. Why is all of a sudden loneliness in this category? You need to understand that loneliness is not a disease. It's a symptom. Everyone universally experiences this. Why this is now something that people are treating as something that must be formally diagnosed and treated in this professional setting is beyond me. But let's take a step back here, right? It's like, take a look at the world around us. Shopping is all done online now. You can have anything you want, furniture, TV, food, with a click of a button. It's delivered to your door within a matter of moments, a day. I was just at the grocery store the other day in the checkout line. I got my food out on the conveyor belt, and there's this new device that you can use to pay for your groceries. And it was this palm reader that uses biometrics to basically scan your hand that you can use to pay for whatever you want. We now have the technology to perform financial transactions with the palm of our hand. This is crazy. It's like, how much longer until passports, your driver's license, these physical things that we have suddenly become obsolete because of this progression of AI integration within our society? Nearly everything is becoming automated, but the question is at what cost? It's like, you think about social media, which has also diluted our face-to-face interactions. Let's talk about dating apps. It's like these things were marketed to streamline the dating process, make it more simple and efficient. And what actually happened is that these things made us more desperate and actually slowed down that process. Turns out when you have an abundance of options, it actually makes this more difficult. And the result of this has been millions of young people completely checked out of dating. There's a new statistic out that says 60% of men under the age of 30 are now single and sexless. We aren't meeting people like we used to. And this leads me to the next culprit, pornography. So MindGeek, which is the biggest company that you've probably never heard of, they own a majority of these adult websites. I'm not going to list them. This year they were acquired by a new partner and they have more financial backing. VR porn is expected to become a multi-billion-dollar industry by the end of 2025. We're seeing an explosion of profits from these streaming platforms like Twitch, OnlyFans, which we all know are damaging our minds, warping our view of how we view love, romance, intimacy, and are at best making us form these parasocial relationships with total strangers online. Replika app, which is this designed AI powered virtual chat bot that interacts with its users via text message. The main idea behind Replika was to create this avatar, so to speak, that becomes more personalized as users engage with it, as it learns your behavior. All it is an algorithm. So let's say, for example, you, the user, you can share your thoughts, your emotions, if you had a good day, if you had a bad day. It's like this thing will actually listen to you and give you a response. This is just an app that has chosen to profit off of the emotional vulnerabilities of other people, right? You have a group of developers that are well aware of this problem that have just chosen to view it as a cash cow. What kind of Blade Runner shit is this? What is actually a good solution to this problem? Do you go out and meet friends? Do you join a book club? Do you join a pickleball league? I don't think the cure to this issue is as easy as just being around more people, right? I believe that consumerism, overconsumption, and this mirage that we've bought into, that you have to have more, that you have to be better, has prevented us from forming human connection. I think about the story of like Marcus Aurelius, dude. This guy was the emperor of Rome. People worshipped him in the streets. He had health, wealth, the kingdoms of the world. People literally bowed down to this guy in the street. He's writing in his journal in meditations about how he's struggling to get out of the bed in the morning. He's struggling with feelings of loneliness and isolation. It's like, dude, here's a guy that literally has everything. He's made it. But what I get from this story is that Dude, it doesn't matter how far you go in life, humanity has a way of always just finding you where you're at. Our existence and everything in between, the highs, the lows, the successes, the failures, are all bound by the confines of our humanity, right? So let's quit mystifying a universal emotion, loneliness, and fool ourselves into thinking that this is something that requires a modern day solution when it doesn't. Your bloodline, whose origin goes back thousands and thousands of years before you were even a thought, have conquered and survived without any of the technology or information that we have today. Sure, this reality doesn't necessarily negate the level of hardship that you or me might be experiencing, but we can be encouraged and just meet this feeling with a sense of acceptance. When you're truly content the way that things are, God has a way of just putting people in your path, man. I stopped paying as much attention as I did before to my feelings this year. And I started asking myself the question, am I living in my purpose? Am I pursuing something meaningful? I changed the metric in which I assess my life, man, and that has been a massive game changer for me. Feelings are arbitrary and uncontrollable. Our actions are the only thing that we have control over. Earl Nightingale writes in his book, The Strangest Secret, which is an awesome book, by the way. You can literally finish it in like one sitting. And he says, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And what he's saying is just try, man. Just show up, have an honest effort, and let everything else just not even matter. Let it become trivial. There's a lot of wisdom in that, man. If you're going through something, it's like, dude, just show up. So anyways, guys, that's all I got. I hope this video helps. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and thank you for watching.